Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. I'm typing in my pinning the topic. Let's see. Okay. Well, just pinning the topic if anybody's joining while I'm typing in the topic. Hey, Crystal Marie. Okay, I'm just pinning the topic. So I'll invite you in 1 second. Okay, great. Let me just type this in, and I will bring you in 1 second with my outfit. All right, pin this. Pin comment. Here we go. Let's see. All right, here you go. Why, hello. Oh, can you just flip the phone the other way?
Let me see. Give me 1 second.
Okay, no problem. While you're doing that, I'm just going to invite some folks. Let them know.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I
Okay.
can see you.
Mine is,
Excuse me.
it goes the other way. I don't have, let me see.
Okay, no problem. I'm just inviting some people
Okay.
while you're doing that. Oh, and I'm getting sniffles. Gosh.
Hold on.
Okay, no
Give
problem.
me 1 second. Anthony.
All right. Hey, Nina Blunt. Thank you for joining. Crystal Marie is getting. Oh, hey, Mayan 703. Thanks for joining. Crystal's just getting herself set up, and while we're waiting for the phone to flip.
Yes, just give me a second. I have
Okay, no problem.
the other one in.
All right, no problem. So I just will do a little brief intro for those of you who are new to the broadcast. My name is Andrea Henderson. I am a talent professional. I've been in talent acquisition for over 13 years, and I've been in human resources for over 20 years. I've worked for 2 of the 3 top pharma companies and a top biotech. I've owned my own search firm, and I have literally helped thousands of candidates over the course of my career. Hey, Teresa, thanks for joining. And so I started Mint Green Publishing so that I could help people level up in their careers, to give them insider information that I couldn't give sitting in a corporate recruiter seat. And sometimes it's hard to do even in sitting in an agency seat. And I happened to have the benefit of meeting Crystal Marie Young virtually through LinkedIn, which is a great platform for expanding your network and meeting interesting people such as her. And started talking about her business and her goals, and learned about the lifestyle brand that she's creating. Fear doesn't go with my outfit. And I was just so intrigued. I said, oh, well, you have to come on. Hey, Shalitris Walker, thanks for joining. Oh, you're in clinical research, so we need to talk. Yes, a lot of clinical researchers I have dealt with. So I invited Crystal Marie on to talk about all of the many hats that she wears as an entrepreneur. And wanted to let her tell us a little bit more about her story. So, Mayanne, there's you can click the link in my bio on Instagram, and you can get to my calendar and schedule some time to talk. But in case you have a pen handy, the link is bit.ly/mintgreen218. So that looks good, Crystal Marie.
Okay,
Oh, hey, Valerie.
okay.
Thanks so much for joining. Hey.
Hey.
All right. So, are you set? Is it all good?
Yes, I just want to make sure you guys can see me. Okay, perfect.
Excellent. Oh, that's great. Beautiful. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? As I posted in the post announcing the live broadcast,
Yes.
you are a wedding events planner and an event organizer.
Mm-hmm.
You are a let me think if I can a stylist.
Yes.
A motivational speaker, and you have a lifestyle brand, Fear Doesn't Go With My Outfit. So let me know if I missed anything and bring us up to speed.
So I'm also an author. I know it's a lot of stuff going on because I was even reading it like, wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So, yeah, so sometimes people can, kind of get confused, but it shows that you can kind of step out of your box a little bit. So everybody pretty much knows me from event planning. I've been doing that for the past 10 years. I've had my company for the past 10 years. And this year I started thecrystalmarie.com, the Crystal Marie brand, which is Fear Doesn't Go With My Outfit. So I've kind of took a detour a little bit, but I'm still Crystal Marie Events, but this is just something that I've been passionate about for a long time. And when you just kind of have something in your head and you can't really shake it and you like, okay, I feel like I have to do something about it. So I did, not knowing if people were going to accept it or if it was going to make any sense to people, especially from where I was coming from the events industry. But I've been doing speaking, and I wrote a couple of books within the last couple of years. So, and somehow within my speaking, I always talk about being uniquely you, being fearless, trying to move to the next level by stepping outside your comfort zone. So it all kind of came full circle, I think.
It makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. For anybody that's on the broadcast that has any questions about how she manages all this or how it comes together or how it's integrated, please reach out. We don't even want to confuse people by telling them what you did for your 9 to 5.
Oh gosh, right. They're really going to get confused. I feel like I've had so many lives. So I actually went to school for biology. So I have a biology degree, and then I went back to school for nutrition and food science. So I'm in that kind of healthcare realm. But in between that, I studied like interior design because I've always been a creative. I've always been kind of that wild, weird child who just always liked, just kind of being creative, using the left side of my brain, and just kind of having fun, dipping into like music and my passion and dancing and all the arts, that type of thing. So, but on paper, I am on paper. I've worked for the Food and Drug Administration. So I had, how they call it, the good government job. I've done that. I've been, quality assurance manager. I've pretty much done a couple of things, but, nothing got me more excited than kind of being the entrepreneur that I am. So I took the leap and really went full time in 2016.
So that's so interesting. So part of what I think is so really interesting about your story is that for several years, I guess it's about 8 years or so.
8 years, yeah.
For about 8 years, you were a side hustlepreneur. So you were working that good government job, working one side of your brain as a food scientist.
Yeah.
And then also working the other side of your brain as a creative,
Yeah.
designing and organizing events and making life beautiful for people in different situations.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it was kind of like I had two full-time jobs. So I literally would work my 9 to 5, come home and work my other job till about, 1 or 2 in the morning. Got like maybe a couple of hours of sleep and just did it all over again. So when it started becoming too much, when it seemed like my business was like really booming and I felt like I had to choose like which one, because it started kind of getting in the way. And I'm like, I don't want to let this go though. So, and I just, mind you, I have been praying to do this full time for 8 years. Like I said, it wasn't just overnight. I started my business. Hey, okay, I'm going to, I really had to go through a couple things. My journey was, difficult at times, but I went ahead and just kind of pursued it. And one day, and I don't think anybody should quit like this. This is just my journey. But one day I just heard God say, it's time. Like, I need you to move. And I just got up, got my purse and left.
Ooh, yes. I cannot co-sign that as a talent professional.
Yeah, do not co-sign that. That's a no. But it was like, at that point, months of and years of just kind of going to the bathroom crying when I got to work to get myself together, because I'm like, I do not want to be like, this is just torture to me. So at that point, and I had just praying, like, give me a sign, God, give me a sign. I know things aren't going to be easy, but I'm just ready to, just take that leap and see what I can do. And I mean, after that, the game changed. Like, honestly, the game changed.
We need to talk about that. So how many people here on the broadcast, put a 1 in the comments if you can relate to, I'm just not feeling where I am anymore. I need to make a change.
Yeah.
Something is telling me that I have something else to offer this world and I need to make a move. So type a 1 in the comments if you can relate. And while we're waiting to see if there's anybody here who understands that feeling, tell us a little bit more about the enough is enough stroll out the door. Hey,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
Teresa.
There was so many things that Shirley Walker can understand. There are so many things that I read in your bio that I said, oh gosh, this is interesting, we need to talk about. But I think one of the most poignant stories that I read is about how you came to become the boss, how you knew you were the boss in capital letters.
Yeah. So my mom, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So I lost my mom in 2017.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So in 2017, she died from lung cancer. But before then, she had been diagnosed with stage 4, maybe 2.5 years before that. And when I say she was still doing her thing, living her life at stage 4, still being able to do certain things, not doing the heavy chemo and all that type of treatment that just kind of burns you out at the end. But so she lived 2.5 years after they actually diagnosed her. So I don't feel like, how people say, she lost her battle with cancer. I don't think she lost it all. I think she rocked it out till it was just time for her to go, So, I always think about that. Like, I don't think she lost her battle at all. But in between that time, while it was kind of getting to the end, I remember she wasn't, it had spread to her brain at this point. So she kind of wasn't there, but she was. So I was just wondering, I'm like, okay, does she know who I am? Because that would just be crazy to me if she didn't know who I was. So I'm like, Mom, you know who I am? And she just kind of looked at me as if to say, and she like rolled her eyes like, and I'm like, Mom, and I'm like, okay, Mom, do you know who I am? And she goes, yeah. She was like, the boss. And I just looked at her like, she was like, Crystal Marie. And she was like, and you're the boss.
That's right.
And I was just like, wow, you know, for that moment, like she
Right.
was in her right mind, you know, for
She
that
knew what was
moment.
going on. And she was
It
probably
wasn't,
channeling something from, other dimensions to say, I know who you are.
yeah,
Do you know who you are?
yeah, and I think she was confirming me for the future. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? For things that was going to happen afterwards, and
Right.
to remember, like, you're the boss. When
Mm-hmm.
this is over, you're going to handle this, and then you're going to handle everything else. Because
Right.
at this point, I'm like watching my mom.
Yes.
If I could get through this, pretty much, I fear fear has no place.
That's right.
So after that whole thing, and that still sits with me today. Like, I can just really vividly hear her saying, her eyes were so clear. She looked right at me and she was like, "You're the boss."
Yeah. That story really touched me. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
So I started live streaming just a couple of months ago with a group of
Nice.
people who are on here. Shout out to Team 21. I saw Corversion, Teresa, the Body Treats Boutique, and forgive me, I don't know if Dorielle Learn to Grow You is on here, but there are a couple of people from Team 21 that are in here. And so, oops. Uh, all of us essentially had some kind of hesitation or
Mm-hmm.
fear
Mm-hmm.
of broadcasting live, of getting in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And we joined this 21-day challenge, and we agreed to hold each other accountable to come on and broadcast live every day for 21 days because Cece, the six-figure chick, said, you just have to do it. You have to get over the fear, and the only way to get over the fear is to do it. Okay, so I say all
Yeah.
that to say, when you get to the point where you're like, oh, this is too hard, this is too difficult, I hate the way I look, I said too much. And I think about the fact that Cece, who organized the challenge,
Mm-hmm.
Astute Academy is also in another one of the boot camps organized by Cece. When you think about the mentor who organized the challenge and her going live from chemo, she's like, I made a commitment to go live this many days, this many times to build my business. And she actually has lung cancer as well. She's very transparent about that.
Mm-hmm.
And she would go live from chemo. I said, well,
Yeah.
there's no reason then that I can't get over my fear.
Yeah.
I can't do it because my hair doesn't look right, my makeup doesn't look right, the lighting, the setting,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it is very inspirational. So I think fear doesn't go with my outfit is brilliant. So besides that message from your mom and that divine inspiration, what else sort of brought you to creating that lifestyle brand?
Just kind of me, just kind of stepping out within my journey with Crystal Marie events. Just everything that I've accomplished is because of somehow I had to push fear aside. And we find ourselves every time we have to move to that next level. So even like now being live, before I'd be like, oh my God, my hair, look at me, da da da. I have on a muumuu, I have on earrings, and and I have on just a colored lip. And I'm just like, but I think it's a level of transparency that kind of heartens up as well, because we have to be kind of this open shell, this open book. But that's when people resonate with you. That's when people kind of go, she looks like me, or she talks like me, or she says something that relates to me. When those things happen, that's when you're touching, because at the end of the day, I've noticed that, and I think this is huge for me, because now I realize that whatever I go through, whatever my journey is really not about me. It's to help somebody else.
Absolutely.
So knowing that helps me kind of push a little bit more. That is, Crystal, this isn't about you. Maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, somebody is going to be trying to start their brand. Somebody is going to be trying to write their first book. Somebody is going to try to plan their first event. So I never want to be that person that shuns somebody else, because that was done to me, and that sucks.
Yeah. Well, I just have to say that your hair, your top, your couch, and your earrings, it's all like one color palette, and I love it. It's like you said that you popped on here and just didn't do much, but it just all comes together. So I guess either that is, again, divine intervention, or you just have a knack for style and putting colors together that is amazing. So
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
really so how do you write a couple of books? I mean, I don't know if there are any authors on here. I think Astute Academy is working with people to write, but I'm not sure if she's working with people to write books. How do you become an author? How do you just push that out? How does that happen?
So I never thought, this goes back to 2016 after I left my 9 to 5, things just started happening. Things that I think wouldn't have happened if I stayed there, because I still would have been in this box or stayed stagnant or complacent with, I'm making a couple of dollars just working this part-time. But when I really was able to put my all into it, questions that some old clients and people would ask me on Facebook and things like that, in my blogs, past blogs, turned into a book. So it was really kind of a tip book, a short tip book for brides. It's called The Girlfriend's Guide to a Crystal Clear Bride. That was my very first book.
Oh, cute.
And that made it, that reached Amazon's top 100 in the wedding planning category. It was like top 10 for a while. So people like brides like that, especially because it was a quick tip book. And I was really talking about tips that they didn't really talk about, like in the formal setting. I'm like, hey, what if you run into a classmate that you haven't seen in 20 years and she saw that you was getting married on Facebook and she like, I'm invited to the wedding, right? How do you handle that? So it was like real life situation tips like that, straight to the point.
Oh, I love it. I don't know if you follow Super Scent. She's another big Instagrammer. She's got
I absolutely am obsessed with her because she is Black girl magic, to the fullest.
Sprinkling that Black girl magic dust all over. But what is so interesting is she's getting married, and she recently talked about how people were assuming that they were going to be invited to the wedding and asking her, where's my invite? And she said, well, what's my mother's name? If you don't know my mother's name, you're not coming to my wedding.
Yeah, you got her little accent. You don't know my mother's name.
You don't know my mother's name. But anyway, I think I agree with you. And then the more that I look to people for guidance, I realize it's really important for their style to resonate with me, for them to understand some of the things that I'm going through and for me to relate to what they have overcome in order for me to really want to spend time with them. Part of the thing that I started on this platform is to tell people, listen, sometimes when I'm interviewing people, and candidates come in, I want to pull them to the side and say, sis, let me just tell you, that dress is not getting it done. The skirt is too short. The whatever is too loud. Like, this is a conservative place, or you need to loosen up a little bit. I have seen people not get jobs because they were, you know how a lot of us are told you have to be 2 times better and you can't, you have to articulate, and they're so perfect, they don't get the job. Because nobody can relate to you. Nobody can break through the facade. So, what we really want to do is be our authentic selves so that we can, attract our tribe.
Yes, and being authentic. And people see when you're not authentic. People see the fake. And to me, it's harder trying to be somebody else than just be yourself.
It absolutely is. It absolutely.
And you don't want to be that person that fits in. I pride myself on being a chameleon. I can kind of vibe with everybody. But when it's my time, like when it's me, but I'm vibing with everybody because I'm being myself. So it's like you get me or you don't. But you don't want to be trying to be this facade, because that is exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
I mean, it becomes very exhausting trying to be something that you're not. It's hard.
I actually saw Michelle Obama was on Jimmy Fallon last night, and he said, everybody loves you. Why do you think everybody loves you? And she said, because I'm myself. Because
I'm myself.
She said, there's so many people out there who are kissing babies and shaking hands, and they hate people.
Yes,
really like people,
and people are going to read that.
Yes,
and now that technology is so, you sitting in your, sitting in the dressing room saying, "Oh God, I got to do this." Somebody's recording it because they want you to go.
Right.
Somebody's recording you. Somebody heard you say something, and I mean, and side note, I saw Michelle Obama. She was in, I'm in Detroit right now. I bounce back and forth between here and DC, but I saw her last week in Detroit live, and it was phenomenal. And it was like your girlfriend. Like she was very much being herself.
And she relates, and she said, you know what, if you see me in the White House, you see me on the south side of Chicago, you see me in DC, you see me overseas at some global summit, it's the same person. And that's why we love when she's giving somebody the side eye, when she is looking at her husband like, you better not, whatever it is, and you know exactly what she's thinking. And you know exactly what you're getting, and that's why we love her. And that's what I tell everybody when you're interviewing for an organization, for a position, you have to show up as yourself. And I'm not telling you that everybody will love you and that just be yourself and you get hired. But what I am saying is that when you do get hired, when they do love you, that's where you belong. But if you don't show up as yourself, if you show up as somebody else, the alter ego, the other personality, the person that you think that they want, the minute you get tired and you let your guard down and you show up as your authentic self and you're not the person that they want, then you will no longer be loved or liked, and that's when the problem happens. So show up as yourself, become accepted for who you are, and then you will have a much more enjoyable experience and a much longer tenure with that organization.
Yeah, and find your tribe. Find where you're able to shine. Find where you're able to shine. You're not going to shine everywhere, and that's fine. I tell people all the time, I am not for everybody.
That's right.
Because I can be like, hey girl, I can be a bit much. But the people who are my tribe understand that, because 9 times out of 10 they're a bit much too, and they understand. But when you start being on those platforms where you are speaking, I'm a speaker, so those things like that, people see through the fluff. People see through like, she's not really being transparent. She's not really. I might say something that you might not want to hear. I'm not going to say something that that's going to make you feel all warm and fuzzy all the time. That's not my message. Fear is a universal problem.
It is.
So when we're talking about fear, that's not going to be warm and fuzzy for you all the time. It's not honest.
And so I was on a live with Core Version Sarah Ann this morning, and she was talking about the same thing. We have Teresa, the Body Treats Boutique, said, I am so over the slick and shiny, and so are people. Real works. I find that when
Teresa having a word, she's doing a word over here. She's preaching. She's preaching.
I find that when I walk in my own power, I literally take over a room. I refuse to dim my shine. Hell, let me get you some sunglasses. That's right. If my shine is too bright for you, let me get you some sunglasses.
Let me get you some sunglasses. Yeah, and some sunscreen, okay? Because melanin, honey. So yes, I love it. Shout out to Teresa. That's the right attitude to have. And again, people get uncomfortable because they're not comfortable with themselves. Because she walks in a room bright, bushy tail, that shouldn't bother me. I should be, oh, what's wrong with her? I should be, go girl.
That's right.
Hey Teresa, I want to be you. I want to meet you.
That's right. That's right. Yes,
but
because somebody else's shine doesn't diminish your shine. So Crystal Marie, and you know what I love about Crystal Marie? So when we first spoke on the phone, I called you Crystal. Your name is Crystal Marie Young. And I said, okay, Crystal. And you said, actually, Andrea, my name is Crystal Marie. I use both of them. Thank you. I appreciate that, because again, you are telling me this is who I am. This is how I want to be addressed. I'm very clear about who I am and how you're going to address me. I love it.
I love it too, because that's how you, and not saying train as a different, but you being in the talent, industry, you kind of have to Because people don't, it's like, oh, it's just Crystal. And it's like, well, actually, it's Crystal Marie. You kind of train people from the beginning. This is the respect box. Like, this is how I want to be, because I'm going to figure out your name.
Mm-hmm.
So, vice versa. And it's always, I've never had any negative, energy or flashback from that.
Right.
So, and I, make sure I say it with respect and proper. And then, you know what? Yeah, I like that. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me because X, Y, and Z. And then we move on. So, but that's step one. That could change a whole different thing.
Exactly. And we were talking about that a little bit last night in our recruiter rant. Shirlitris asked about that. Should I change my name? And I would never tell anybody. I'm not trying to mess up anybody's coins. I'm not trying to tell anybody, how to handle their money situation, because at different times we sacrifice different things. But if you feel like that's what you need to do to get a job, hey, Daryl Tillman Photography, thanks for joining. If that's what you need to do to get a job in that time and place, fine. But there are tons of people.
Let that be your decision. Don't let somebody else make that decision for you.
That's right. And there are tons of examples of people who demand that you spell their name right, you pronounce their name right, and their names are much more difficult, and the whole world gets it. So we won't talk about that last night because we talked about Oprah and Shaquille O'Neal and Bazoma St. John and all of those people last night. So we won't go there again. So tell us a little bit about what the brand, the goals are for the brand. Fear, wait, let me get it right. Fear doesn't go with my outfit.
Yeah, so the goal for the brand is, I played off fear doesn't go with my outfit because of my love for fashion. And, I'm a wardrobe stylist, so I've been doing that for just as long as I've had my event planning company. So fear doesn't go with my outfit is basically saying on a daily basis, when I get up, I put on my clothes and I say I cannot dress up in fear. So whatever goals that I have to accomplish or conquer or get through, whether it's this week, this day, this year, this second, this minute, this hour, I can't let fear deter me, because on the other side of fear is where happiness is. Mm-hmm. But we have to get through that little bit. This is fear. But once we get into it, becomes this whole big thing because we're scared, we're nervous. Top 3 things. I'm scared to fail.
Mm-hmm.
It's failure. To me, failure is just evidence that I'm trying. See, we have to switch it in our brain to make a negative into a positive. And failure to me is evidence that I am trying.
And failure is also the way that you learn, because you would never learn to walk if you didn't take the first step and fall down. You would never learn to ride a bike. You would never learn to ride a bike if you didn't wobble. So if you're not going to put yourself out there and risk failure and actually embrace it, then you can't make progress at all. Agreed. So
it's all about kind of taking those risks a little bit, and I know it's big risks, it's small risks, but first is, okay, I have to get that mentality that I'm scared to fail. 2, finances. We feel like, okay, if I don't have a certain amount of money, when I left, I didn't have, and they tell you this, that's why I said this is my journey. This is definitely not, I'm not saying this is the way to go, but I didn't have a certain amount of money in my bank account. I didn't have, years of experience doing weddings. I started off doing fashion shows. I didn't even tap into weddings until a coworker asked me one day to say, hey, you do events. Can you do my wedding? I said, okay, sure. So again, that taking the risk to step out of what I was, comfortable with doing, which was fashion shows. Now I have to do this wedding. But finances seem to detour us from kind of doing a little bit. But then we see that people pay for what they want to pay for. So you have to know your value.
You have a product or service that solves a need. If people are constantly asking you for something, your expertise, your opinion, to do something for them, then you know that there's a market. You just need to figure out how to
get into it.
How to get it. Right. And
Yeah, yeah, and ask, and then knowing your value. You have to know your self-worth. Once I figured out my self-worth, I didn't have a problem raising my prices because I knew I was worth it. But again, that fear was trying to tell me, girl, you can't charge that much. You're not that good. Yes, I am.
That's right.
You have to switch it. You have to switch it. And then the third thing that I would say, because we care what people think. And then we have to find, who are we looking at to validate us? I found that people were saying, girl, you shouldn't do that. You gonna do that. They were miserable. Right. They were at dead-end jobs, and they didn't like anything that they were doing. You didn't see them level up. You saw them 10 years later was still in the same position, still at the same spot, still singing the same song. Why are you trying to get validation from those type of people? If you are the smartest person in the room, you need to run out that room.
Okay. Quickly. All right. Beautiful dark-skinned girl is feeling you. She said, so true. So let me just say that one of the best ways to learn, to grow, to get assistance and support doing what you want to do is to support somebody else. If you can sew into somebody else, it might not be that exact person, but somebody will sew into you. It's just like a universal law. So I tweeted something recently that was a retweet from Myleik Teal, who started the Curl.
Oh, I follow her too. She's amazing.
She's amazing. And so what she said was, you can't be mad if people, friends, family, or whatever, don't support you, because sometimes they're just struggling to get through their own day, their own lives. And so you won't always get the support and encouragement of people that you expected from, but it's okay, do it anyway.
It's okay, do it. And that's what I tell kind of novice planners under me who are, kind of reach out to me and say, hey, Chris, do you have any? I say, don't feel bad when your friends and family, they're not your strangers, are going to be your biggest supporters. And that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes the family want to support you, but mentally they might not be there. Financially, they might not be there, but in whatever way, they understand. I remember when I first started and my parents didn't really get like what was going, they always supported me, they always supported me, but, they would be like, she does, decorating and stuff. Like it was always decorating and stuff. And I remember that part. She dabbles in parties. And I remember one day, I think I was on the phone on speaker, and I was talking to a client and writing some down, and the client had said the price, like, so I just sent you, X amount of dollars. And both of them turned around and was like, what? And I said, I know you thought I was just dabbling. Like, no, this is a legit business, So from then it just kind of clicked. But again, where I came from, God bless my parents, but they weren't taught entrepreneurship.
That's right.
They did the best they can. It was go to school, get an education, you get your dreams job, you might can get a house. That's what they knew. So that's what they taught me. Oh, but I saw something different, And
I know that
supported that, but they, even when they didn't really understand it, they was like, oh, okay, but they still, supported that, but in their own way. Right. You can't get in your feelings about certain stuff like that. Absolutely. And I tell people, feelings, it's no money there.
And that's not good. Don't mess up a good government job. Don't let your dabbling do and mess up that good government job, because, it's going to be hot with you.
Right. And that's what it was. It was like, wait a minute, you just what? You just quit? You just left?
You feeling okay?
We got parents that stayed at jobs for like 20, 30, 40, 50 years. The grandparents, 50 years stayed at one job where, I just saw more for myself, and that's when that generational thing comes in, I just saw something different. I've always seen me working for myself. I just always saw me as my own boss. And then my mom confirmed it, and I said, oh, okay, well, this is what it is.
So Teresa at the Body Trees Boutique says that is why it's So important to find like-minded people, and she's so thankful for her tribe. Yeah.
Yes.
So a couple new people have joined. Model Shatemi. Welcome. I'm hoping I pronounced that. Nina Blunt is co-signing with a big check. Columbia, New York. Thanks for joining. Beautiful dark-skinned girl. I acknowledged you, hopefully. I know you made a comment. Jetro Scholar, if you're still here, welcome. And Daryl Tillman Photography. Thanks so much for hopping on. So, the 6 of us. Oh, the 6 of us. Girl, my godmother would have passed out if she knew you left that good government.
Teresa is hilarious. Listen, my grandmother passed out. She said, "You did what?" So yeah, it was a whole big thing. But one thing they said, well, I guess you know what you do, and again, so that initial support was not there. But again, you have to know, you have to dig deeper within yourself and tap into that faith. This is a different type of faith. Okay. You have to dig deep and tap into that faith and say, and I knew that it was a possibility going through that I had some failures. I had some fears. I had some failures, but I figured out what didn't work. I said, okay, well, that doesn't work. On to the next thing. I didn't go, okay, this isn't going to work and quit. This is my 10th year this year. That's starting a brand. What if I quit 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 minutes ago?
Yes. So Successful Immigrant joined. Thanks so much for joining. I love the name. I love that handle.
I love it.
So I wanted to take a pause for the cause for a second and just, again, for the new people who joined, say that I'm Andrea Henderson. I'm a talent scout. I'm a talent professional. I've been in talent acquisition for over 13 years and human resources for over 20 years. I work for 2 of the top 3 pharmaceutical companies and a top biotech. I've owned my own search firm and have recruited in many different industries. And I have literally helped thousands of candidates over the course of my career. I'm talking tonight with Crystal Marie Young of the Crystal Marie brand and Crystal Marie events. Her YouTube channel and website is in the pinned comment at the bottom, so you can check out how to book her for speaking engagements because she's a motivational speaker. She's a wedding planner and event designer. She is a stylist for photo shoots and for other events. I'm imagining you would style somebody for whatever they need to be styled for. She is an author and was on Amazon's top 100 in her category. What else have I? What else? Oh, and she is the founder of a lifestyle brand called Fear Doesn't Go With My Outfit. And Crystal Marie is styling right now in her auburns and blues. I mean, those colors look like just beautiful fall colors.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the leaf changing on the East Coast. I love it.
I love it.
So fear doesn't go with my outfit. I saw that you're selling T-shirts so people can rep the brand. What else do you have for us with fear doesn't go with my outfit?
So fear doesn't go with my outfit. In my store, I have T-shirts, hoodies, pins like buttons, and bags. So again, those are just kind of apparel. I call it my Fearlessly Fly store. Thank you for the hearts. I call it my Fearlessly Fly store. When you dress up, I call it my fly girls and my fly guys. People are really kind of resonating with the brand because fear doesn't go with my blank, can go with anything. I say my outfit, I don't dress up in fear, but whatever you're going through, it could be fear doesn't go with my career. So they hire you to find them the actual job. Fear doesn't go with my career. Fear doesn't go with my passion or purpose. Everybody is here meant to do something.
That's right. And I would say fear doesn't go with my relationship. Fear doesn't go with my marriage. Fear doesn't go with my parenting style.
Yes. Fear doesn't go with motherhood. Fear doesn't go with my marriage. Fear doesn't go with my illness. Maybe you are, just been diagnosed with something and you're trying to figure out how to get through it. Fear doesn't go with that because as soon as you get down, I think that's when it really starts affecting you. It's mental. So whatever you have to do to get that together, Fear doesn't go with my, with my family. Maybe you need to go to counseling and break some generational curses. Fear doesn't go with that. I know in the
fear doesn't go with my bank account. So let me
listen, my finances, okay? That's a word. Yeah.
Fear does not go with my finances. If anybody else on the broadcast has something that they want to share, what fear doesn't go with it? Fear doesn't go with nothing.
Nathan, I love it. Teresa, you are like my spirit animal tonight. She will be my good girlfriend. And these are things that we talk about in my podcast. So fear doesn't go with my faith. Fear does. So I record my podcast every other Saturday, which will be my first podcast is on my YouTube channel. That's why I put it on there. And you can also go to thecrystalmarie.com and listen to it as well. But every episode will be touching on fear doesn't go with my what. So it'll be different topics. It will be real life transparency, raw footage. Like, hey, this is what happened. This is how I got through it, or this is how I'm getting through it. This is how I failed. This is how I succeeded. But people need to hear that. People need to hear that.
So when you do the episode on fear doesn't go with my career, I sign me up. I'll be a guest.
Yes, that would be amazing. I'm gonna hold you to it.
I put it out there publicly. So beautiful Darcian girl said, "Fear doesn't go with my God, and it doesn't go with mine either."
Yeah. So the one coming up, and you guys have a sneak peek since you are on Mint Green Publishing Live right now. You guys have a sneak peek. I am recording on Saturday, and it's Fear Doesn't Go With My Faith. So beautiful dark-skinned girl hit it right there, and her story is amazing. So you definitely have to tune in. Again, my website or my YouTube channel, it'll be up sometime Saturday or definitely by Monday. You want to tune in next week to hear that. If you follow me, I'll definitely be putting it out there and saying, hey, it's available now. But she hit it right on the nose. Fear doesn't go with my faith. So
I love it.
Dark skin girl, that's for you.
I love it. And so now I need to reintroduce Crystal Marie because I left some things off. So we have Crystal Marie Young, wedding planner and an event designer, stylist, author,
yes,
brand owner, podcaster, YouTuber.
It's a lot. I'm exhausted listening to it.
That's okay. You keep doing it. As long as as long as you can stand upright, you keep doing it. And maybe even if you can't stand upright, you keep doing it because when you give yourself permission to be great, then you give other people permission to be great.
Yes. And I think we all need to just support each other. That's the thing. Just be great. My third book I wrote, I co-authored with some other event planners around the world. And the name of my chapter was Sign Your Own Damn Permission Slip.
I love it.
Sometimes you have to, the job will give you a pink slip. Give yourself a permission slip to say, you know what, today I'm going to be great. I don't need somebody to tell me to be great. No one has to tell. We're all leaders in our own right. Give yourself permission to be great, to move to the next level. But fear will cripple you. Fear will keep you stagnant. And I never wanted to be the one, knock on wood, or when it's time for me to leave this earth going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I never would do that.
I know. Well, let me just tell you that it's interesting because I started a weight loss coaching program with one of my Hello?
Yes, did I lose you? Okay, we're back. Okay.
Yeah, we're back. I got a notification and I was trying to swipe it. Okay. And all these damn notifications. I still need Sarah at Core Version to help me turn them off. I thought I turned them off, but I apparently have more to go. But in any event, I started a weight loss coaching program with one of my challenge members. And part of the coaching that she's doing is that if you have any unforgiveness, any fear and anger and all of that, all of those emotions make you hold on to weight and they create disease. And so fear doesn't go with my health. Fear doesn't go with my lifestyle. So
fear doesn't go with my stress. Like that's where fear comes. You're stressing, then it's all in here. You're gaining weight. You can't sleep. it's too much. We just got to let that thing go.
You have to let it go. Yes, absolutely. So I think it's such a powerful message because it touches so many areas of your life. It's bigger than a slogan on a t-shirt.
Yes.
It's really a way of looking at the world and life in general. So I love it. But I want to take a pause because I can go on and see if anybody on the broadcast has any questions. If any questions for Crystal Marie about being a side hustlepreneur and how she managed to work a full-time job and build her business for 8 years. How she manages to do all of the things that she does as an entrepreneur. If you have any questions, type them in the comments. And I'm just going to say, I cannot wait. I'm making a public declaration right now. I cannot wait till I say, when I wrote my third book. My third book.
Yeah. So my next book I'll be working on next year is actually going to be Fear Doesn't Go in My Outfit. That's going to be the title. So I'm in the process of going through my trademark. So I'm like right near the end, but because I saw it bigger than just, t-shirts. I said I wanted to be the podcast and my next book, my next thing that I speak about. Because it's a movement, and it's not for me to sell t-shirts and, try to, be acknowledged. This is about us. This is about everybody. This is about us. It's not just about me, but it's about united that we can say, kick fear in the balls and wherever we want to move to that next level, we can do it together by saying fear doesn't go with my outfit. Fear doesn't go with my blank. So it's not just about me. This is to help everybody else. This is about us. This is a movement,
So Teresa, who is just full of wisdom tonight, says, Lisa Nichols says, fear is just a way to tell you something that needs to be fixed, but it is not meant to have the power we give it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. That's so true. That's so true. I love that, Teresa. Thank you for that word. Somebody pass the collection plate to Teresa. Because she is giving us the word tonight. I love it.
Okay. Well, I don't know about how we could pass a collection plate here on Instagram, but I will tell you that I have been a customer of the Body Treats Boutique, and she makes some amazing bath bombs and shower steamers and body butters. And if you want to talk about that, self-care, she has some amazing self-care products that are also really pretty.
Oh, wow. Did you see what is that conversion, what they said? Yes. And
I think, wait, let me just read it. I think fear is a convenient excuse. It's like a way to give yourself a pass. Wow, that's deep. It could
that's
be
deep. And I realize that some people are scared of success. They are scared because now they feel like they're more accountable for stuff. Some people are afraid of success. So that's a good word. People do, feel like, well, I'm scared. That's just a pass. It's something convenient to say. It's something convenient to say. So I definitely agree with that.
Mayan 703, if you need some body products, then go to Teresa at the Body Treats Boutique. I just want to say, related to what Sarah Corversion said, this is a little story, a little diversion. But when I was in elementary school, and my old dear friend Nina Blunt, who's on the broadcast, may remember this. I was on the track team and I was running a race.
Nice.
And I took off and there was nobody near me. And I said, well, what's going on? Did somebody not, are we not running this race? Because I don't see anybody to my left or to my right.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned around to look to see where my, competitors were, and I fell. Mm-hmm. I fell across the finish line. And they said they disqualified me and I didn't win the race. And my father told me that was because I was afraid of winning. I was so far ahead of everybody that I couldn't see them, and I fell at the finish line. And that's what fear does to you.
Mm-hmm. It'll cripple you. It'll say, and again, you were looking for, in a way, some of us look back for validation. Should I keep going? Am I doing this right? But what are they doing? They watching you. They're learning from you.
You might even be looking around saying, am I really this great?
Yeah, right. And I think some of us think that we can't be as great as the people we see on TV or the people that we follow on Instagram or the people that we read. They are human too.
That's right.
So you can give yourself permission to push past that next level. And again, that goes back to what circle are we keeping? So if you feel like you're growing, everything is a season. If you feel like you're growing outside of those circles, you might be. Your season with them is over. So
that's
true. Kind of talking about the club and Real Housewives of Atlanta, and you want to talk about something that's food for your soul, that's fine. You just find your tribe. And it's nothing against them. Those are still, you love them from a distance, but you have to move on. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel bad about that.
Right. So core version says, and relating to the people who use fear as an excuse, they act like things happen to them and they don't choose their circumstances. And she's so right, because sometimes we need to just acknowledge the fact that we are where we are because of the choices that we made. And it's okay. You can correct it. But until you acknowledge that and start making better choices, you can't move forward. So there's no sense in being fearful or regretful. Just acknowledge that you made decisions that put yourself there and move on.
Right. And how can I change it moving forward? If you're not, if you are not satisfied with the decisions that you've made. So.
That's right. So Teresa says, and yes, let me tell you, as my business coach, she's talking about Sarah core version, does not let me off the hook when my fear starts talking.
Yeah. And again, you have accountability partners. That's so important. That's so important. And I'll get up every day and I'll say, an affirmation for myself. Like, okay, today, and it could be something silly. Today, you're going to be great, girl. Hey, girl, fearlessly fly. We're going to be fearlessly fly today. Whatever gets you in a mood to rock out today, do it. Accountability partner, if you have to call them, and they have to get you together, surround yourself with that. Sometimes it may seem silly, but those little things help. And
don't be scared to pay for it either.
Say it again.
Don't be cheap. Sometimes you have to pay for that accountability. You have to pay for that assistance. You have to pay for that guidance. You can't always pick somebody's brain or, get a hookup. Sometimes you have to invest in yourself to get the assistance and the guidance you need.
Because if I don't invest in myself, how can I expect somebody else to invest in me? You cannot free 99. And we will stretch out a free You can't You can't free 99 everything. You cannot.
That's right.
And in order to move to the next level, sometimes you need to spend that coin.
You do. You sure do. So Food, Clothing, and Shelter says, do you know why Black Lives Matter? I absolutely do, because Russia says so. I don't understand that.
Okay.
Hey, Kenyatta. The Kenyatta Nicole joined. Thanks so much. Food, Clothing, and Shelter. Can you please explain that? It seems like that might have been a joke, but that went over my head. Hey, Tiffany Nicole. Thanks so much for joining. Tiffany Nicole, also hot, out in the Cleveland, Ohio area.
Hey, Tiff.
So, yes, so we are going to pay for what we need, because let me tell you something. If you invest, it comes back.
Yeah, it comes back to you. It definitely does. But I said, if I can't spend that on myself, how can I expect somebody else? And that's where the confidence comes. So I was attending conferences when I was really leveling up in my business. I was attending conferences. I met a couple coaches, things like that. So after investing things in myself, especially with the Crystal and Marie brand, really stepping out, the biggest investment that I had made thus far when it came to my business was really in the Crystal Marie brand. I said, oh my goodness, I don't know where this is about to come. I can't believe it's this, but I invested in it. And now I'm confident in that thing. I'm confident to push forward. I'm confident to say, hey, when I go out and speak, is there, what's the benefits? Or I'm confident in saying, hey, I'm going to write this book. I'm confident because I've invested in myself. So now I'm training people how to treat me.
Absolutely. So I want to say something about that. Teresa has been trying to ask this question. She wants to know, what would you say has been the most challenging part of your journey?
Definitely, definitely, again, investing in myself, really understanding that, okay, it's time. In order for you to move to that next level, this is what you have to do. And then after that, to me, the game changed. Like it really, your mentality changes. You're in a different room. I don't even attend free events anymore. Why? Because they're not my clients. They're not the people that I need to gel with.
Okay, we have